if you put a people in a permanent daily survival mode, how much time do you give them to think through their political problem? I could also vote the ANC, you see? Why? Because I'm so hungry for this day that even the 350 I will grab. Giving, sharing involves the understanding of misery. It involves the need for justice. It involves the imperative of liberation. Our people have been robbed in the Freedom Charter. And when you want to check who are our people, you will read up to the end of the Freedom Charter, but you will never get the identity of all.
Prof, welcome back.
Thank you. Good morning.
Back by popular demand. Yeah, and I see you are, if there's ever any dispute about where you're from, today you dressed like you're from Pretoria.
Thank you.
Ufuna ukuscore to Prof.
Thank you.
Looking really good, and thank you. Yeah. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, Mandis.
Your reach is quite broad. I was very pleasantly surprised to see how many people in my network know you and actually engage with your work.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here again.
I'm humbly thankful for that.
Yeah.
I'm very, very thankful that somehow something is happening. People are curious and interested.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Clearly, you didn't start your habit of starting trouble on this podcast. Because I look back in your history and I see that you featured on Rapport in 2022. On the 11th of September, those that are curious, and he was featured on page 4. There was a photograph of yourself and Professor Mudiri, as well as another a previous guest of ours, Prof. Ndumiso Ladla.
Okay.
And the accusation was that you are indoctrinating law students that you're supposed to be teaching. Yeah, I'm interested. I mean, why on earth are you provoking those kinds of reaction? Why are you indoctrinating students instead of teaching them? But also, what's happened since then? I mean, you featured there. What's been the sequel to that saga?
Thank you for the observation. It's most welcome. And, 11th September is quite a significant date for one African country and therefore for Africa. And that is Ethiopia, because it is a New Year's Day in Ethiopia on the 11th. But we also know that on the 11th of September, something happened in the United States. So it is a bit curious that on a happy day for Africa, there is serious unhappiness in the United States. And I wasn't sure why our accusers preferred to have their article published on the 11th of September. So maybe they were on the side of unhappiness. Okay, one of the points is this, that, there is no education that I know of which is not tinctured with indoctrination. So I find it very strange that people should say, you are indoctrinating. It means their understanding of education is a bit odd, to put it mildly.
But I'm also quite surprised that you are acknowledging that, because aren't these things supposed to be objective and neutral? And
True, I'm glad with your surprise, because you see, objectivity is conventional.
Yeah.
It's quite a conventional concept in science. But we know very well that science has been so objective for so long that it made sure that in its objectivity, a human being called a woman would never feature. You see?
Yeah.
So that means, even these conventions of science have to be taken with a grain of salt. Yeah, because if you are objective, didn't you see that there are women around? Did you really not see, right? So you can see that science should be treated with suspicion with regard to its claims. Yeah, the objectivity is nice, but objectivity is not possible without the subject that creates or invents that objectivity. So that is why I am saying, well, if there is any education which is not indoctrinating, people can say, are you meaning it indoctrination in positive or negative? Indoctrination is indoctrination.
Yeah.
You are giving a particular doctrine. You are infusing a particular way of looking at things.
Yeah.
You see, and even the education here, they didn't complain. Those who accuse us of indoctrination never complained that when you say black people are not human beings, you are indoctrinating us because we know that they are human beings. No, even their churches, their Christian doctrine told them that black people in this country are not human beings, and they accepted it. So, if you are objective, we expect you to have a sense of fair play. So, why is it that they were not concerned already at that time in their own situation?
Yeah.
Number two, with regard to that article, you see objectivity again. You have 3 photographs of Prof. Mudiri, Dr. Tata, and myself. None of us was asked permission, either by the newspaper report. The newspaper did not approach us to say, hi, we have your photographs. We want to make them public. Do you give your consent? No, it just went on. Country, are we not to be treated with some courtesy? Is my public image, my photograph, not a personal thing that I should have control over? So you see, their subjective considerations decided that these must appear without the prior knowledge and consent of these people. In the Objectivity newspaper. So can you see that? But this objectivity contains dangers in it, because the people who read the report already know, because the coverage is not so favorable, right? So, for example, beneath Ndumiso's picture, you have something like, he says that white people are not human beings, okay? And then beneath the picture, the photograph, Yagamudiri, you have the claim that you must make these white people fear. And beneath me, my photograph, he says that the Constitution is unethical. You see?
Yeah.
So those who don't believe in those would get angry. And then they would want to know, but who are the people who talk this nonsense? So, you see, they answer for these people in advance. They say, here are their photos.
Yeah.
If there is anything you want to do to them, here are their photos. God. You know, this is not a very fair trick of exposure. Because someone seeing me in a beret will say, that is the Ramose. Yeah. And if this person is convinced about the Constitution, what would they do to me? Now you can see how this newspaper put us in trouble. And it did, because I remember Dr. Dladla telling me some time afterwards that he went with friends to a restaurant and they were enjoying themselves over a meal. Out of the blue, someone seated in the same restaurant, these heavy, strong Afrikaner guys in a short pant, whatever. Then he walked from his table and approached their table, and then, with a kind of scornful threat, yeah, Dada, and then he walked back. How did he know to me so? From there. Yeah. You see, absolutely. So that's how objectivity can be seriously dangerous. Recently, we see what happened to Charlie Kirk in the United States. Oh, yeah. You see, so if people portray you as a deliverer of evil or bad news, and then they even provide the people with your photograph, what do they expect? Another Charlie Kirk? You see, so it is not funny that the newspaper took the liberty to just publish our photographs without our consent.
Did you ever do anything with that? I know you had a point 3. We'll go back to that.
Yes,
I'm just curious.
Yes, and that leads me to the point 3,
okay,
which perfect. I will split into A and B.
Yeah.
Because we did raise some objections, and these were taken up formally in the by the deanery. And so the dean of the law faculty at the time was interviewed, and she answered interview questions. Part of, for example, she was asked, these are 3 guys, 2 of whom are known to have some legal training. But the 3rd one, being Ramose, is a philosopher. So what does he want in your department? That was one question. Another question she was asked was, well, what do you say about these guys doing this in your faculty? And she said, well, our Constitution, I'm not saying our, I'm using a word.
Yeah.
Our Constitution.
No, I do remember you disowned the Constitution quite vociferously in your last episode.
Exactly. You see, so she said our Constitution is among the best in the world. So these guys have freedom of expression. Our Constitution allows it. So they are free to express themselves. So then that was, I think the journalist was clever enough to understand that this was somewhat evasive. So she became quite direct to say, well, what do you say about our Constitution? Then she said it's among the best in the world. What I read into that was, well, because they have freedom of opinion, leave them to their madness. One day they will be converted, and then they will see that the Constitution is the best. And no, not even if I'm not an academic, I would not have accepted that. So then I said, now, you went the formal way. I just want to have my right to express myself. Of course, this was in consultation with Mudiri and Dladla. So they said, okay, please, go ahead.
Yeah.
All right? So I wrote to the editor to say, no, we demand the right to be heard. The article was published there, so our response should come through there. Even if it's written by me, it is our response. Voila. So she agreed, and then there was an article replying to that, and it started, of course, it was in Afrikaans, yes, and it started with the observation that, hey, Afrikaans must be a very special language, you see, because it seems to be the only language under the sun which has got no idioms, which has got no proverbs. It's the only language. Because if it is true, then there must not be this African saying. There is an African saying that hy lig soos die koerant.
And you're saying this while conversing with the Quran itself.
Exactly. You say, no, the Quran. So you see, it doesn't mean the Quran is a liar. So I told them, you see, even in your own language, you have proverbs. You say, "Lik shows the Quran." Then I explained what that means, and I said, okay. So when Tata says, white people are not human beings, he's not a fool. He can see that I'm talking about this human being by that name. He's not so foolish. He cannot, therefore, be saying in the literal sense that white people are not human beings. What he's saying is that when they behave the way they do not behave as they are ethically expected to. And in our language, when someone behaves below the ethical standards, we say, "Ha se motho selo se." So what's wrong with proverbs? So don't pretend that you don't know proverbs. Yeah. You just want to distort that so that you get the best out of what you want. So if it is not the best of what you want, then for sure you must understand that Tata has never been so blinded. At least I know him never to have been reported to be blind until now. So he can see that you are human beings, but human beings whose behavior is below the ethical requirement. So that was answer number one.
Yeah.
Oh, Mudiri.
Before we move on to the next one, I just want to challenge us a bit. I mean, because we do live in a country, probably even a world, right, where these things are inflammatory. You know, in the same way that we call inflammatory behavior on the part of white people, like they wrote about you and the two gentlemen, wouldn't it have been more prudent to articulate that in a way that wasn't going to lend itself in that situation where you stand accused? And I know you don't speak for Ndumiso, but is it not better when dealing with these problematic issues to just find ways of articulating ourselves that aren't going to add to the problem?
Well, it is an interesting observation, which is most welcome. I am sure that most of the people who speak the Bantu languages, recently I was for some time in Germany on a program philosophizing in African languages. And so some of the presenters who came did so in Kiswahili. We know that actually Kiswahili now has been recognized as the official language of the African Union. Voila. Now, I was quite impressed to hear them say in Kiswahili what we say in Sesotho or in Isizu. Just what I just said. Ha se motho selo se. You see, they said that. So it means other languages. When you speak these languages, you will not take an offense when I say Hasimutu. Even when we take conversations, Kimutu.
Yeah.
You see,
absolutely.
and then Hasimutu. No one gets emotionally worked up. You see, they understand, and that was my reason to show these people who accuse us that Afrikaans must be a very dry and empty language if it doesn't have metaphors. You see? So to be inflamed is to show linguistic narrowness. You don't want to know about other people. You don't want to know their language. You don't even care about what could it mean. It's not, you are not interested. You just see it, you react. Yeah, now that is not according to Aristotle's definition. Man is a rational animal. We expect you to reason.
Yeah,
and reason will tell you, why do they say this thing in this way? Instead of being angry, you become curious. Yeah, so these ones are seriously not curious human beings. You see, so I think in inflammatory language, again, we go back to your initial question on objectivity, is, well, to be taken with a grain of salt. Because people also have the duty to inquire. Curiosity is there. You know, sometimes we hear in English strange, proverbs and proverbs. You know that one. Curiosity is a woman's vice. Oh, Nkosiana. We hear that. It is said so in English, and we hear that. How does it really qualify as a vice when the urge to know is human? The urge to know is human. When women want to know, you say, this is not a virtue, it's a vice. But it is because you are asking. You don't get inflamed. You asking, Kanti, Nina Mangisi, what are you talking? Please explain. So why are these guys so lazy? They're not particularly, showing themselves as rational animals proper, because a rational animal proper will be much less inflamed. So sometimes to say take precautions is to actually suppress your freedom of expression. So we have to check out on these things that when you say what there are things of courtesy and matters of ethics for sure. Now this is not a question of courtesy. It's purely, even in that context, it is purely a question of showing something ethical, to direct attention to the ethical dimension. So if someone directs attention to the ethical dimension, why would you be angry? Why really? I mean, these people have a history. I mean, the Westerners. And part of their history includes the so-called Inquisition. They were inflamed by people who were thinking freely. Now, if that has passed in their history, let it stay there. It shouldn't come to us.
Okay, got you. You were moving on to Prof. Mudiri when I interrupted
he wants people, white people must be made to feel always indigenous, afraid of what? You see, they don't ask. Afraid of what? But we know that we are not guessing as the indigenous peoples of this country conquered by these Western colonialists. We are not guessing when we are saying that they are jittery until today. They are living in shivers. Why? Because we are too many for them. They don't know how to handle the point that we are so many. Never mind the fact that they took 87% of the land by so-called right of conquest. Even so, they are still not, they're shivering. So Mutiri doesn't have to make them, to make them shiver. They themselves shiver. They themselves shiver. Okay? They don't exercise introspection. They are a shivering and shivered people. They are shivered by the fact that we are too many for them. How can we be too many when this is our land? How can we be? But for them, we are too many. Because they know that the 87% they have is taken by unjust means.
Yeah.
And we have not forgotten that. So because of that, they continue to shiver until today.
Yeah.
So why are they, I say, no, this. And then I go to the inscription beneath my name. Yeah, I say the Constitution is unethical. Oh, yeah. Well, before I get there, I go to another point which was asked the Dean, Ramose, what does he want?
Yeah.
In the faculty, Ngoba is a philosopher. You see, you can ask that question as a Westerner if you are uninformed about your own Western cultural tradition. And this is what I put down. Say, this person who's asking, I doubt if she is really attuned with the Western cultural philosophical history. Once upon a time, there was a philosopher called Plato. And this Plato wrote so many books. One of them is called The Laws. And so it didn't stop there. There are many philosophers who have written books on the law up to our own time, to such an extent that in the universities in this country, legal philosophers in the West, like Dawkins, were all the time taught. And nobody complained when the Dawkins were taught.
Yeah.
They were taught as philosophers. So if this person knows and understands that philosophers are not foreigners to law, then this question is a bit strange. Yeah, it should not have been asked.
Yeah.
It shows a very strange gap yes, a very strange gap. It's you see.
Yeah.
So meaning that the interviewer must go back, check their own tradition. It's not our duty. After all, we were compelled to study their own thing. We were compelled. So they studied it freely. And they had enough food in their stomach just to go and study and read. So why did they ask such a question? No, impermissible. That is why. When we come to the ethical issue, of course, I do argue in so many of my writings that these colonial wars do not themselves satisfy their own Western standards on the just war doctrine. They don't. So you cannot tell us that you have taken this country in a defensive war like Van Riebeeck told the Khoi people. What is he defending? Because the 3 ships that he came with here, not a single one of them contained land cargo. So what is this guy defending? You have the courage to tell them, I'm defending. What are you defending? Ayikho land cargo yakho. You never increased the size of this territory by 1 inch of territory you brought from Holland. And then you tell us, no, I won this in a defensive war, and it is my intention to keep it. And of course, the intention to keep it is true until today. Yeah. You see? But the truth of the matter is also that this so-called right of conquest, luckily, one of them, as I said previously, Happel in his article, and of course you have many black, white, yellow, green people who studied the law of this country. The book itself goes under the title South Africa. You remember I told you even that it is page 795 where you will get this point, that this country called South Africa is constructed upon the right of conquest. Yeah. And the right of conquest is, in ethical terms, unsustainable. So, what are they trying to say? What are they trying to say? We're talking ethics. The problem is sometimes people decide to pretend that you can separate politics from ethics. In fact, ethics first, politics after. If they don't know, they must go back to their ancient philosophers. Bayofunda, the book again, The Politics, Yaga Aristotle. Yeah. You see, it's there. Tina, we were compelled to study these things. Bona, they were not. So it's very funny that they pretend they do not hear our language. Okay? So much so that, and as this debate went on, I'm sure it's 3 of us. So they finally published the article, all right? It was called, in Afrikaans, I'm translating roughly, whose law are you talking about? You, the colonialist, okay? So it was published, and then second time, I published another one in Rapport because somebody was writing in a way that I could not understand. I had the impression the writer is probably not living in the country. So I wrote a reply to a certain Van Niekerk. Now, Van Niekerk, actually, if you translate the surname, it means of the new church. Okay? So at the end, when I concluded, I used the surname to play a pun on it. And I did say that, you know what? At times, new situations require new churches. Yeah, so you could understand that we need a new church, not that one. That's right. And then at that point, the editor, a woman much younger than me, decided to write to me and ask me for a meeting over a cup of tea. We met at Woolworth's Cafe in Menlyn, Maine. Yeah. And she told me how impressed they are about my articles. The readership is quite good, and this and the other. May I please continue to write? I said, yes. I mean, if that is what interests you, I will make a contribution. So I made a follow-up with a contribution because now it was the editor telling me that this must be done. Yeah. Voila. And I can tell you that even before Rapport went to appear now only online, I'm still waiting for that article to be published. So can you see objectivity? Yeah. So you must ask, because editors are also, shall we say, servants of the board. So what did the board tell her? What did they tell her? Were my articles not objective? She judged that they were objective and said, let them go on. Yeah. So who was indoctrinating? Was I indoctrinating the Afrikaners in another way?
Yeah. Was
I? So if I wasn't, why is it that I wrote several letters which I can show? Which can't, when are you publishing? Dead silence. So yeah, only objectivity. So it's you see, even indoctrination, you see how it works.
Yeah.
So that was around rapport.
Yeah.
And here comes a very popular gentleman. He was initially a lecturer, university lecturer, UCT, and then Wits. And we met in person in 2003 at a conference in Rao.
Yeah.
That Rand Afrikaans
UJ,
University.
Guys, for the younger crowd, that's UJ.
UJ, that's exactly. So we met there.
Yeah.
Well, we couldn't have met otherwise because the program was organized in such a way that you had 3 speakers at a time.
Yeah.
Okay. So there was 1 speaker before me, and then myself, and a certain gentleman, a learned academic called Dennis Davis. That was the first time. Davis. Dennis Davis. And people know that he was subsequently out of university because he was appointed a judge. I have reason to believe that now he is a retired judge. But he does have a program on television called Judge for Yourself.
Yeah.
This is the Dennis Davis I'm talking about. So, well, then out of heaven's blue, Dennis Davis decides to publish an article in a judicial review here. In that article, he decides to cite 3 people who, to use a loose phrase, I know that in the article he uses specific expressions, but for conversational purposes, I want to use the expression people who are hostile to the Constitution, enemies of the Constitution.
Yeah.
So, Tsepo Matlingosi, he used to be at University of Pretoria, and then he went to Wits. Now he's with the Human Rights Commission. And then Joel Mudiri again features there, cited by Dennis Davis. When is Mogobe Ramose going to be left alone? When? There you have Dennis Davis citing Ramose, and the article he cites was published in 2007 in the Griffiths Law Review.
Yeah.
It is called In Memoriam. You know, when somebody has died, we say In Memoriam. Okay? So that was first In Memoriam, semicolon, and then, colon, and then Sovereignty and the New South Africa. So new, I wrote in inverted commas. I was expecting that when he cites, because he cited this article, he will remember as someone learned in law that the duty of a judge is to interpret but not to make the law. Well, those days we were taught these things in Latin. So it was judicis est lex dicere sed non dare. You may not give the law. You simply have to interpret, to say what it is. So I think he forgot that principle because
I don't think he's the only one.
Eh?
I don't think he's the only one. And quite frankly, I don't think the principle holds, but please continue.
I see. But to my surprise, I told you now that I put new in inverted commas.
Yeah.
He decided to delete the inverted commas, can't he? Who has written, can't he?
Yeah.
Who really has written?
Yeah.
I put inverted commas. Yeah, now he removes them. Is he making another Ramose article? He must not make the law. But here he's making the law. Can't tell what was the benefit. Anyway, that article, Yaga Davis, in that judicial law review, now has given birth to a lot of his disciples. Too many of his disciples. Before I get to Grave, who wrote later, his only time on the media, I want to go to Stephen Friedman. He also wrote a book. And then in chapter 6 of that book, he deals with us again.
Yeah.
Yes. And the book is called Prisoners of the Past. You see, Prisoners of the Past. It has its own subtitle. Now you see, at page 73 of that book, he has a footnote. And as far as I am aware, that footnote is footnote number 4.
Yeah.
And there he is citing the doctoral work of Mudiri. See, the researchers, you see, citing the doctoral work of Mudiri. And he doesn't stop there. He also has Mudiri again at footnote number 49, where he is actually referring to his article, The Color of Law.
Yeah.
Okay? Whew. He has several of Ramose's articles there. The one that I think is interesting is that he also has the same worry about in memoriam article. So he is citing this in memoriam article, just like Davis. That's why I am saying that Davis has got disciples.
Yeah.
You see, but what I also want to bring to light here is the fact that Friedman is saying in this chapter 6, no, you can see your Tata, your Madlingozi, your Mudiri. Behind them is this Ramose.
The godfather.
No, I object. I object.
Running the show. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I interact with these people mentioned and many more. I do interact with them. And I don't think for them. We think together. I don't think for them.
Yeah.
We think together. We are engaged together in mutual criticism and critique. That's why I consulted them before I wanted, we had this article published in the rapport. because I know they are independent thinkers. They can think for themselves. They can write for themselves. Never mind the fact that I've been their teacher, some of them. But the fact is they are independent thinkers, and critical thinkers on their own, in their own right. So, and that is the kind of student I like.
Yeah.
A student I can learn from. You see, I learn a lot from these people, and it is not, as they put it, Ramose men. Uncle Siap. Bakona Ramose women. So, so they are Ramose women.
Hey, let's give them a shout.
Why are they not? Really? You see, again, it is to create the impression that this is just chauvinists.
Yeah.
A bundle of chauvinists. No, it is not true. They must, if they want to be objective, you see again, then they must say Ramose men and women. And these Ramose men and women are the people interacting with Ramose critically and independently and surely thinking for themselves.
Yeah.
So I don't like the idea that, no, Ramose is, no, it is not true, but I'm not surprised. You see, the title of freedmen,
Yeah.
prisoners of the past, fits him very well because he himself is a prisoner of the past. Why? In the past, when we did certain things, we black people, it was always, there must be a communist behind this. So they were searching for communists, you see, even where they were not there. We could not just think of for ourselves. They were communists. So you must look behind. You will find a communist. No, I'm saying, please, liberate yourself, Friedman, from that past image. Black people thought for ourselves at that time, and we are thinking for ourselves right now.
Yeah.
We don't need Karl Marx or Jesus to prove that we can think. As Bapu, they are not necessary. So, in the same way, don't mistake my association with these men and women as the religious kind of association of Pastor Bonus, the Good Shepherd. I have docile sheep to lead. There are no docile sheep that I'm leading. No, there are people who are thinking and reasoning for themselves. And now you find this implied in the input of Grave when he is criticizing us. You see, Grave is all the time, and you see, he reads his Afrikaner, he reads Afrikaans. Now, the article I told you, the first reply in Rapport, he probably has read it. Now, if he has read it, it means he knows what it all means. He knows our stance. So why does he continue to make noise? Well, for some people, this will be a surprise. But I'm not surprised that despite what he has read, I put it to him that he has read. Despite that, he acts as though he did not read at all. And this is not surprising me, because there are people who actually decide not to learn anything. So they will have no eyes, they will have no ears, but they will have the biggest mouth. And that is what Grave has. You see, because if now the issue is not for him to be telling in the media, in his podcast, about the history or whatever of critical legal theory. And you see, he traces it back from the US, and then it comes here as an import. We are just uncritical assimilators of this. You see the mentality of there must be something behind this. They can't think for themselves. We must find somebody somewhere, something somewhere for. When are we going to? Really? So Grave does not want to accept that we have answered, and he is unwilling to answer us on our premises, on the arguments that we actually put on the table. You see, he's not the only one. We have also one or two requests from addressed to the learned judge. What is interesting is the judge preferred not to answer any of the requests, but continues to be critical. And the attitude is growing that you will criticize these people either by pointing at their names directly if you have the courage, or by implication. Well, what do we have now? Just on Sunday, this Sunday on the 2nd of November, there is, the Sunday Times is divided, blah, blah, blah. So one division is called ideas. Now, in ideas, at page 11, you have an article by a certain Vali Musa. Yeah, and this Vali Musa, this article is said to be an excerpt of his lecture, the Kader Asmal lecture. He was giving the annual Kader Asmal lecture. And so we have the excerpt. Well, I was not lucky to have the full text. So my comments are limited to what I see, what I read in the Sunday Times. The article is called "Our Constitution is Not an Accident of History." Yes, of course, it would take an interesting long time to question him on what he means by our. All right? Like we have, our people have been robbed in the Freedom Charter. And when you want to check who are our people, you will read up to the end of the Freedom Charter, but you will never get the identity of our people. Well, so, so there we are. We have this, our people, our Constitution is not an accident of history. You will see that at page 11 of Ideas, the Sunday Times of 2nd November. Well, what I find interesting is that he uses the expression "a small number of men," a small group of men, black and white. Oh, you can even remember South Africa belongs to all who live in it, black and white. Of course, there were no Indians and coloreds in this country, you see. That is how objectivity works. That's right.
But you being BC, weren't they using black in the inclusive BC sense?
Pardon?
Were they not using black in that sense?
No, intertemporal interpretation shows very clearly that 1955 is not 1968.
No, I'm not talking to the charter. Okay, no,
Exactly.
moving right along. If that's what you're referring to, then I concede.
You see, so that is an excuse by them. You see, but you have this kind of thing in Western philosophical or cultural traditions. Aristotle wrote so many things, and before he was made public to the West, he had to be metamorphosed by the doctor of the church, Saint Thomas Aquinas. So Aquinas had the time. Meantime, Aristotle was banned in 12-something, Paris University, for example, he was banned. The works of Aristotle were not taught because it was necessary for Aquinas to have the time to make him palatable to Christian religious thinking. And so when there was satisfaction that, now Aristotle is really on time. Then the ban was lifted, and the Aristotle of Aquinas spread out in the West. But you see, even so, Aristotle was not mentioned by name. No, Aquinas took so much from Aristotle's philosophical reasoning, but he always referred to him as paganus, the pagan. You see, so that you see the distance, you see this and that. So this logic of exclusion, which at the same time is a kind of stealthy theft, is very common. So I was not surprised. I wasn't surprised when I read and when I hear. So, and then he repeats this twice, this thing of a small number of people. First, it's a small group of men, black and white. And then as you read the article, then it says a small group of people. I'm not sure if Musa is aware that even a small group can make wonders. Who ruled us here for so long? Was it not a small group? I mean, before we go far, who ruled us here? Was it not a small group? Is this group not small until today? So why is he trying to brandish smallness as a kind of insignificant thing? And this small group, which actually is continuing to devastate us, is actually built and inspired by another small group. And this small group is a group of exclusively 11 men. In the beginning, they were 12. One became a betrayer, and so Judas was gone.
Yeah.
And then you had a football team, 11 people under a man called Jesus Christ. Is the world not confused today? Because how many wars have we fought in the name of Jesus? How many? A small group, as a football team of 11 people. It inspired even the people of Van Riebeeck to deliver Bibles in Dutch. I mentioned last time that when you go to the Voortrekker Museum, you see 3 9 kg Bibles written in Old Dutch.
Yeah.
They are locked up. You couldn't touch them. They say, no, you can only look. You may not touch. Now, has the Bible not caused headache, heartache, and destruction? Hasn't it? Were there no holy wars? Of course, I'm not giving exemption to the jihadists, okay? All right. So you can see that this is, if you reason with Himara, only 11 men, man, and can have an influence lasting for 2,000 years plus. You know, smallness, I must tell Musa, is not actually the measure of impact.
Yeah.
You don't measure impact and influence by numbers.
Size doesn't count. Look, I mean, that brings to mind, because you've spoken about Mr. Musa's article and the size reference in particular. Reminds me of Willem Gravet's article as well, at least the one that he wrote. I think it was in March this year. He made similar arguments, and I think they are worthy of addressing. And I'll tell you why, because in part, I've made those kinds of, I've made different points around, you know, the performance of the BC movement, of the Africanists, and all of that in terms of the elections, right?
Okay.
But in particular, I'm not going to try and quote him verbatim, but one of the points he makes, and I understand that they're trivializing, and that's what you are basically taking issue with.
Exactly.
They are trivializing, you know, the issues that you make, and they are taking you as the small number that you are, and they believe that you're the only people who believe that.
Yeah.
But Gravet, in his article, makes the point more explicit in that he says, if your views were popular around this blackness, around the issues you have around the Constitution for you in particular, but also around land, you know, he makes other problematic statements, which I'm not going into right now.
Right.
But that if you were to use electoral performance as an example, as a measure for the significance of the views that you hold, you wouldn't get support for your views. What do you have to say to that? I mean, because as much as we can complain about the fact that he's trivializing your points, there is that issue of performance, which is normally used as, you know,
I see. Yeah.
as an indication of why, if these things are pervasive, if these views are held pervasively, why is that not showing up in electoral performance?
Oh, great. You see, I liked your initial point about objectivity.
Yeah.
And I would like to start my answer by reference to a popular term these days, epistemicide. Epistemicide, simply explained, means the killing of the knowledges of other people. I think in what I'm going to say in response, people must really keep this in mind. If you miss the point of epistemicide, then you really have lost. Because you see, the right of conquest has three corollary elements. One is epistemicide. Another is economicide, the killing of the economies of other people. And another is religicide, right? The killing the religion of other people. So usually people talk epistemicide, including these other aspects. Now, I wish that people understand that when I talk the language of epistemicide, I have economicide in mind and also religicide in mind. Now, you see, for making it even easier,
Yeah.
Just to explain further, CIDE, side, also occurs. For example, for people who like gardening, they like to go and buy pesticides to kill the pests. So this CD has to do with killing, you see. So then you just add the prefix of what is being killed, and then you have it. Okay. Now, the right of conquest of the forebears of Grave actually meant in practice, economicide, they have all the land. It meant religious side. Some people are Christian just because of a football team of 11 people. And if you like, you can add politicide. See, you kill the way in which people understand their politics. Voila. Now, when I speak, when I reply to Grave, I'm having these in mind. If you miss the point that I have these in mind, you won't get me. You won't be moving with me.
Yeah.
So, Grave is actually inviting us to an epistemology which has been imposed upon us. And he is saying, use our own epistemology as the standard of weighing up your so-called performance, your so-called effectiveness. So, my first answer A or B or answer 1 is that, Grave, in the first place, who told you that we admire and need your epistemology to run our politics? Who told you that? That is the first point. Nobody told him except his historical feeling that he is the boss. And so because he is the boss, he must dictate. Use our measures, use our ways of knowing and doing. Use only those. And those should be your mirror. No, Asifu. We reject the invitation. Instead, we invite Grave. Grave, when was the last time you visited any rural area in this country where people live in our villages? When was the last time you did so? Grave, when was the last time you took a public transport bus? Going anywhere in the country, how often does he take the taxis of the people to go to Mozambique, to go to Johannesburg, to go to this, to go to that? How often does Grave actually visit a place like Marabastad and find what he will find there? How many times? There are many Marabastads in different parts of the country. Does he visit any of them? So you see, I'm saying by this that Grave is suffering from a serious veil of ignorance. He is not where the people are. He does not feel what you and I know, because our people, our relatives are to be found there and we go there. How much literacy did Grave give to these our people to understand the Westminster system and appreciate it? You know, this week, last week towards the end, I'm a regular listener of Tobela FM. And so someone was reported to have been doing some research on voter apathy and what people want. one of the findings is that people here would prefer to be under military rule. You see, so I'm asking Grave, if your democracy is so beautiful, if it really is a good yardstick for measuring performance, effectiveness, why are people turning their backs away from it? But Piama soldier man to help us out of this. Why are people looking for soldiers to come and rule? Okay? It doesn't stop there. Now I go to the level of Grave, because Grave is supposed to be an academic like myself. Voilà. Grave, does he really know that it is common knowledge that Ghana is the first African country to attain political independence, right? In the winds that were blowing, the winds of decolonization. Ghana was the first in 1957. And it was led by a man who has professed openly in his writings that he is a favorite of the Westminster system. Kwame Nkrumah pronounced that. If you read a lot of his writings, he is really a fan of the Westminster system of governance. Well, Westminster system is not the system of the Ga people of Ghana. Voila. So, well, governments changed in Ghana under the Westminster system, beautiful as it was supposed to be. 20 years down the line, I'm asking Grave, do you know that in 1977, the people of Ghana decided this is not our cup of tea. It is something we don't want. We don't need this. It doesn't work for us. Even the Catholic Bishops' Conference supported this. They had their own research and made their own publications to say, Lentole is an African, asifuni. But it is still there until today. Okay? But the fact that it is still there until today does not prove that it is good and it has been good for the peoples of Ghana. It proves only that, if it is any proof at all, in fact, it is an illustration that the forebears of Grave, in the form of collective term Westerners, made sure that our will shall be done. So that's why they brought our father to us. Thy will be done means our will shall be done.
Yeah.
Okay? Okay? That is in 1977. Before 1977, there again we have one of the wonders, another African country, the Congo in 1960, is offered again. Of course, I use offered sarcastically. It is offered again political independence. The demand for that is free and fair elections. That is that is performance. And I want Grave now, we're talking so-called education, and he is an academic. So, free and fair elections. That is the pill of democracy of the West. Okay, Westminster. Voila. Free and fair. The peoples of the Congo do elect Patrice Lumumba. This is our man who contradicted free and fair elections. Please, Grave, tell us, who contradicted the result of the free and fair elections? Who? The West, including this country. They were party to the disappearance and the assassination of Lumumba. Kanti, what kind of democracy is this? Which actually agrees that when you perform and perform excellently, you will be assassinated. That's it. That is very strange. You perform excellently, you're punished for your excellent performance. You never see the light of day. Not only that, your country is split into two. Today we have Congo Kinshasa and Congo Brazzaville. Oh, Grave, really? Do you also know where nu Grave? Uguti, the Congo as a country, territorial size, before your forebears, and you, this country of yours, participate. There are lots of books which show the participation. For example, if he wants to read the memoir of the Burmese UN secretary, it's called A View from the UN. He can click, and there are several pages covering the Congo. It was quite interesting to see this country mentioned in the whole story about how Lumumba disappeared. Really? You know? So, the point is this, that this Congo, which was not a split country before, is territorially speaking so large that the whole of Western Europe fits into one country, into the Congo. Now, how much power again we go to our learned Vali Musa, a small number of people, a people who can fit into one African country, the people of Western Europe, were able to disable and to make sure that they eliminate excellent electoral performance. They eliminated it. Only now, recently, they have returned the tooth of Lumumba to the Congo. How bad. He didn't have teeth only, he had a full body. No, he had a full body. So you see, Grave, we want the body of Lumumba. Yeah, you see, an excellent performer in elections according to their paradigm. How about I think Grave, and this is before 1977, when Ghana decides, Nati, we don't want this anymore. So the bottom line is this, that this is alien model of democracy is something we don't want to be invited into because we know it is a killer. It is deadly, it kills. And it kills supported by something. For you to be able to engage in this model of democracy, you need money. And he can study Kwasi Wiredu on this. I suspect he doesn't know the spelling. So I'm going to spell the spelling for him. Kwasi is Kwasi. And because if you say Kwasi Wiredu, they might even say Wayedu. So it is WIREDU. Yes. Kwasi Wiredu has got articles on that one, and a debate also with Emmanuel Ise on the naturalness or otherwise of the epistemicide that has brought to us Western democracy. You see, so Ugrave must start learning that the first thing he must do is to find out what and how did the people rule themselves in a situation which was not determined in part, but in part and also decisively by money. He must ask himself those questions. He doesn't ask, no, he just wants you to rush and say, oh, we are guilty, we don't have electoral support. Is he like Zile? Maybe he knows one or two languages, like Zile knows his Xhosa. How many, does he know any of our languages? I don't know, but I doubt if he does. So how then does he have serious access to us? No, I think Rave needs two things. One is to do some introspection, to find out if perhaps he's got some superiority complex. And if he does have that, he must learn how to correct it. Number two, he must also learn that philosophy takes pride in dialogue. And not only dialogue, but critical dialogue. I don't think he is speaking like a philosopher, because the examples that I gave you of whether he takes taxis sometimes, even once a year, just to listen to the conversations in the taxis or the buses or by our people. It would tell him something about the land question and all this. Does he know what people say when they live in the shacks? If he doesn't, I invite him to come to me, I will tell him. Because I go to Mikukus. I hear the conversations in the taxis.
So explain to our viewers, why do all these conversations not translate into choice, And yes, I understand what you've said around this whole electoral system.
That's right.
And its flaws. I understand that.
Right.
But the reality is that until recently, Black South Africans were voting en masse. That's why the ANC got into power.
That's
At
right.
some point, they were in 2/3 majority. That's history now.
That's right.
We all know that. But, and this is one of the things, by the way, where people were inviting me to inquire with you and Ndumiso in follow-up conversations around this notion of the ANC and how, because both of you were essentially saying that they were never going to deliver that dream.
Right.
And people had a problem with it.
Right. I see.
Because they believed that they would. Even now, and we'll get to that later. But what I'm saying is the people did vote, and they voted in their numbers. They voted the ANC in, despite the fact that they didn't deliver the dream. And this kind of behavior does lend itself to the likes of Rabe. And I'm really not interested in talking about him as a person. I was citing him to quote the article that he wrote and the issue he was raising. So how do you reconcile the two? That yes, we may have these conversations.
In fact, you're right to say we don't refer to him as a person, but he is right. So when I say Rave, I speak in the collective sense of the Rave, the Graves. And at the same time, I speak directly to him because he has written something. Well, if you don't want to be pointed a finger at, then you don't write. then nobody will answer you because you have not put down everything, anything, I mean. But if you put down something and make it public, why don't you expect a reaction? Who tells you that the reaction will just be best?
Yeah.
No. So he has exposed himself as grave. So that's why I was saying I enter into him at another level now, at the level of an academic. You see, and when I was asking about the 1977 back to 1957 Ghana and the Congo, I am also implying by that, the questions, the reflections on that, I'm implying by that, you know, actually, for many graves, Africa was discovered in 1994. Right. For many graves, Africa was discovered in 1994. That's why I keep the do you know rhetorical questions. You get the point?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, we come to your point. Okay. Black people were choosing, were electing. I told you about money, right? That this politics is the politics of money. You may recall way back, when there was still the Progressive Party, led by Dr. Yanis Steitler and his successors. One of the items in their manifesto, which was called Safeguard Your Future, was the property clause. You have to have so much property and you have to have this level of education. Okay? Whose education? So you have to have this. Now, this is the thinking. This is, again, epistemicide endorsed by a party which apparently looks very progressive. They call themselves Progressive Party. Okay? You can see that in the contemporary. If you follow the history of the Progressive Party, you can see how it evolved into so many other parties. Okay. Now, the point is this, that what you have is an education which is not yours because it is imposed upon you, and it is a qualification. You must have this level of education. Why did they demand that? Because they wanted you to understand what you were doing. When you say, I'm going to vote, they want you to understand what is happening, okay? And it's a very minimal level of education. It doesn't introduce you to the intricacies of what does this Westminster mean? By this, I want to say, you see, understanding what you are doing is very, very critical.
Yeah.
Very, very critical to the so-called voting.
Yeah.
In fact, this point has long been registered, for example, by Harold Lasky in his A Grammar of Politics. It's a huge book, but it's called A Grammar of Politics. And in that book, he makes it quite explicit that it is illicit, meaning it is wrong, it is impermissible to give people an instrument which they do not understand how to use. You see, to voter education in this country happened before 94. The EU put lots of money for voter education.
Yeah.
So we're studying the documents that were prepared.
Yeah.
What was prominent in the education was that actually you must know where to put the cross, and the parties are going to present themselves this way and that way, and then you must know where to put the cross, and No, but that was voter miseducation. Why do I call it that? Because they were Bantustans, and people were already familiar with that. So why do you tell them what they already know? They knew how to put the cross in Bantustan politics. So you repeat the same. I mean, really, this is idle repetition.
Yeah.
We need something more, something deeper for people to understand.
Yeah.
And my thesis is that people do vote because the level of their understanding is such that they will just vote the ANC because that is the level of their understanding. It is what they understand. You see, so nobody acts beyond the level of what they know and understand. So for that reason, we must understand that people don't really go the route of, by the way, before I vote, I must check out what is the historical, philosophical basis of the socio-economic system in which I am. How many people ask that? I'm sure even the Graves don't ask that. They were just voting en masse for the Nationalist Party. You see, they were not asking this, National Party is, Peter Malan, we are going to vote for him, okay? So, you see, so to the fundamentals, to the basics.
Yeah.
And this is what I mean by understanding.
Yeah.
If people understand the place and the role of money in this system,
Yeah.
would if they had a thorough understanding, even if it is not so-called thorough, but elementary, which makes them see that Kanti, is this where we are? Then we could say that in this case, people act with understanding. Please don't misunderstand me. I don't say people don't understand. I'm not suggesting that they don't really know what they're doing. I'm saying instead that the habitual reaction to what is given is that as long as you have the instrument, then you can use it. Even if you don't know what the instrument is. Now, the giver of the instrument is the one who is guilty for me, and not the people who vote. Because what do you expect? If you give them what you did not explain in depth, how do you expect them to behave otherwise? Let me give you a popular example that I hear in my travels or my walks or whatever. People would say, you don't vote the ANC, then you're not going to get Mudende. Yeah, you won't get your 350, your what. So to safeguard that, I must now vote the others won't give. If you don't vote the ANC, the white people will come back into power. These are, well, Musa, the one I referred to, and the Graves, there are so many articles and books, but I think if they check St. Peter Blind, A History of Inequality in South Africa, 1652 to 2012, Well, you can see that the book it is published more than 5 years ago. One would say it's too old, according to modern fashion. Well, you don't, 5 years is enough. Well, I'm not in that fashion to start with. And those who insist on the fashion are invited to instruct us no longer to read the Quran or the Bible.
Yeah, no, hey,
Yes.
you're not sparing anyone today. Yes, sir. Point
Yes,
made.
that's right. So that's that is one. So his other book is called Lost in Transformation. And I like their branch. I mean, one should not forget that he was one of the interesting architects of the economy of apartheid. But he did have a change of mind. And he actually describes himself in his book, this a history of inequality in South Africa. He is saying in his own handwriting that he is writing from the left spectrum. So it looks like he thinks himself a leftist. Well, I do make a critique of that in a forthcoming article, but that's okay. Now, I like him because he's forthright, truthful, and at the same time, he was party to some of the secret talks, leading to the negotiations. Now, in both books, A History of Inequality and Lost in Transformation, he is quite explicit on the point that actually the ANC betrayed. Now, I use his words, not mine. It betrayed the indigenous peoples. Okay? To my knowledge, he has never been challenged by the ANC on this point. Never. He said, you have betrayed the people. To whom? To whom? To business. That's right. To business, you have betrayed the people. Yeah. Well, part of his confirmation he gets from where? From an American lady journalist, Patty Waldmeyer. And her book is called The Anatomy of a Miracle. The Anatomy of a Miracle, you can imagine. And the subtitle is, of course, The End of Apartheid and the Birth of a New South Africa.
Yeah.
One of the claims she makes in that book is that when the business had a meeting and they wanted to have conclusions at which Abu Mandela and Ramaphosa were there. That's what we find in the book anyway. Is that, well, after they had agreed with the demands of business, then Mandela said to business, now, you know what? We have consented to what you have been asking us to do. Now, in return, each one of you must contribute R1 million to the ANC. And so, with typical sarcasm, Patty Waldmeyer says, well, you know what? Only one business donated the 1 million. The rest did not. Now, I think the rest who did not were the wisest. Because if you understand the money, the role of money in the Western democratic paradigm, sorry to say, but it is childish to ask for a donation of 1 million. So I won't even start giving 1 cent. If you ask for $1 million, and if you know how much money is needed, and when you come and ask for 1 million, no, I won't give you. I can see that you don't understand what is happening here. You see, if you really understood, you would have known how much to ask. Okay? Now, this is interesting because in her same book, this party, there are pages with photographs.
Yeah.
So pages 116 to 132, you have all kinds of photographs, Abo Mandela, Abo de Klerk, whoever. And one of the photographs is with Cecil Ramaphosa and Rolf Meyer. And below, I better read this so that it is not my words.
Yeah.
Below that photograph is written, Cyril Ramaphosa of the ANC and Rolf Meyer of the National Party. Siamese twins. Siamese twins of the revolution. Was there any revolution to the new South Africa? Nkosiar. Who must believe this?
Yeah.
Who really must believe this? Okay? They're Siamese twins. That's no surprise that in the current national dialogue, Rolf Meyer features again. Okay? And now you see, we have this idea of revolution too. Now this time we have it from Neil Barnard. He wrote a book called The Secret Revolution. Okay? Memoirs of a Spy Boss. Now you see, secret revolution. It means a lot of things happened in secrecy. By the time things come into the open, it's a kind of Muppet show. It's a kind of, if you follow the book, and of course, it's Christian enough, Neil Barnard, to trace espionage from the Bible. He goes to the Deuteronomy to show that espionage is even willed by God. Okay. So there we have it, that in secrecy, a revolution was happening, it matured in secrecy, and then it was eliminated. So what appears afterwards is not the elements of the revolution, but something else, which we will feed to the public. And so this one, Sampi says, it is just not acceptable that the ANC agreed and made a compromise of that nature with business. What was the compromise? Twofold. One, you will move away from parliamentary sovereignty to constitutional supremacy. One. Number two, you don't touch any of the wealth that was acquired until 1994. No touch to that. You must also understand that in addition to that, you will have to take the Western model of democracy. And it was, in our old days, we would say it was all yabas, yabas, yabas. Okay? Now, when you have this, is it not true that they have it? They have constitutional supremacy. And I deliberately say supremacy in contrast to sovereignty of parliament. Because in our way of governance, koshiki koshika watu, sovereignty is with the people. Sovereignty is with the people. So if the people are represented by parliament, sovereignty is vested in parliament because parliament is the people via the representatives according to their logic. Okay? Now, this one, now we go back to the inscription on Mudiri again in rapport. If you have parliamentary sovereignty, you are too many. You're just going to vote and we're going to lose everything. You're too many. So we want a new God, a God that will frustrate your votes. So again, I go to Grave to tell us who is he trying to sell performance to. Okay? Then they see, okay, and who tells them in the first place that black people think alike? If we think alike, why do we have so many political parties? Even before this time, there was not only the ANC. So it should have told them that black people do not think alike. But because they are panicking, they are already shivering and shivered people. Then they decide, no, we must nurse our shiver. So we must have constitutional supremacy. In other words, we need a political God who will say, yes, you have voted, but you are wrong. You see, we are not going to do it like we did it with Lumumba. We are going to be a little bit smart. We are going to do it by the Constitution, the God of the political. And then, when we have this God, you can go dance in your parliament, make all kinds of laws, this. We know it is our law after all. You see, we will take you to the Constitutional Court and it will strike off your law because it is inconsistent with the Bill of Rights. Since when did they respect anybody's rights anyway? Okay? So you can see that. When we talk this language of the ANC cannot really deliver, it has bound itself not to deliver. It has bound itself not to deliver. The question is, did our people know? See, there we go again, back to Harold Rasky. Open the grammar of politics. Ask us, if you put a people in a permanent daily survival mode, how much time do you give them to think through their political problem? I could also vote the ANC, you see? Why? Because I'm so hungry for this day that even the 350, I will grab. I will grab, not because I will grab because I am in a daily survival mode. And you are the one promising me that for that day, I will be the one who will do it. You see? So this is not a perfect example to endorse this point that people know. Why? Because when the vote was introduced in Rhodesia, what was there? The principle was again racially tainted. NIBMA, right? So NIBMA was an acronym for no independence before majority rule. But our clever journalists decided to change that a little bit. No independence before black majority rule. You see, NIBMA didn't say so, but they said so. And because they were afraid that black people think alike, they will do this, they will do that, what did they do? they polished Joshua Nkong. One of the newspapers, old newspapers of the 80s I have, has a photograph with Ian Smith embracing Joshua Nkong. What do you find at the top, the headline? The headline was, Joshua Nkomo is the best. That was the headline. And Ian Smith is embracing him. And so poor Zanu of Mugabe was supposed to be condemned. Of course, this country also contributed in many ways. Okay. So when the time came in April for the people of Rhodesia to vote, because the name Zimbabwe was, you see, it was like KwaZulu-Natal today. It was called Zimrod at the time, Zimbabwe, Rhodesia, because you will always find your Muzorewa. Okay? So it was Zimrod, and then the people went to vote. They were dressed in colorful whatever of Joshua Nkomo, this and the other, and the supporters of were very pleased. Hey, now the people are going to vote Joshua Nkomo in, and Mugabe will disappear in the desert. Well, to their surprise, the people voted Mugabe, although they had their food, their T-shirts, they voted because they asked Lord Soames. It was on the news. They asked him, when you say secret vote, what do you mean? What is this secret ballot? They told them, no, nobody will know who you voted. Really? 3 times, like Peter or Jesus asked Peter 3 times and before the cock crowed. and then the 3rd time the people were satisfied with it will be secret. Nobody will know. So we'll eat their food, we'll wear their T-shirts. When we go to the polling booth, we go to Mugabe. Yena lo umlungu akamfuni is our man. You see? There was political prudence. The people of Zimbabwe understood. Uguti, in general, a leader who is full of praise from white people, please be suspicious. Please be suspicious. It can be good for you. Yeah. Exactly because we know what whites do and have done to us. So act with suspicion. So these ones, Ekaya, were not as prudent as the people of Zimbabwe. We were flooded with ANC, bombarded with ANC, up to the point of intoxication. And so, under intoxication in the first elections, everything was ANC. You see, in fact, it was exactly at that time that the people should have raised the question, Kanti why about Zimbabwe, just our neighbors? When it happened like this, they went to the wrong man for the white man. No, Bona, they went to the right man for the white man. That's what happened here. And that is why when now that emerging out of intoxication, slowly but surely, the numbers are going down. Support for the ANC is dwindling and dwindling and dwindling because people are becoming sober now. You see? So, but why were they intoxicated? Because of the money power of those who wanted to put the ANC there. Because of the money power which knew what concessions the ANC has made. And these concessions actually contradict Ndate Vali Musa, our constitution was not an accident of history. Indeed, he is right only by title, not by the substance of what he writes. By title, he is right, it was not an accident. Why? Because it was a deliberate, premeditated mechanism to ensure the retention of wealth in the hands of the conquerors and to insist upon the continued impoverization of the indigenous majorities. So, in that sense, but he's not speaking that language. You see, that's why I think he's blind. He must go to study people like Sam Peter Blanche and Neil Barnard, the spy boss, just to see what secrets he has delivered to us. I am seriously consoled by the fact that today people see slowly but surely that no, we don't go the ANC way. We are Sifuni. Even now, how many people want to have Zille as a mayor of Johannesburg? How many? You see? How many commentators like Mashele come on this podcast and say, Mina, I will promote Helen Zille for the mayor of Johannesburg. So people don't remain in blindness forever. Now, one of the problems is that this Valimusa, well, the substance really refers to us. And then he makes a complaint, which I think you must take seriously, because he is saying, yeah, these guys are even using podcasts. See, as if podcast. Who tells him that a particular fragment of society has the right to use podcasts? Who? You see how the suppression of truth is happening? So I think that we must take consolation in the fact that our people are not intoxicated forever.
Yeah.
And this is not supposed to take time. Just to stress this point, that it is not supposed to take time. I want to say that to put us in a permanent mode of daily survival is actually against the so-called Bill of Rights, because the right to life includes the right to access and use, all that is necessary for the preservation of life at the level that is commensurate with the dignity of the human being. That is the right to life. Now, if you make us hungry, you do the opposite. If you make us hungry, you also are making sure that, well, we shall die. And yet you are the messenger of thou shalt not kill.
Yeah.
Now, thou shalt not kill is not only contradicted by the money transporting vehicles, it is also contradicted by the food that is wasted and thrown away every day. For that, I want to tell you something, but it is better to take it again from the Sunday Times.
Yeah.
You see, the director of corporate social justice of Woolworths appeared in the Sunday Times of October the 12th. And her name at page 17, yeah, Zinzi Ngolodela. That's right. And I just want to cite a little bit of what she wrote there. It says, in South Africa, I'm talking about food and food that is thrown away.
Yeah.
In South Africa, the challenge is stark, where 15.9 million people face limited access to food, while over a third of the food produced in our country goes to waste every year. So people don't have food. You throw it away. Luckily, again, I'm being sarcastic. Luckily, we have a minister of agriculture, Steenhuisen. Well, again, if you translate his surname, Steenhuisen, it's houses of bricks. So those who don't live in brick houses may not throw stone.
Yeah.
Okay? So he is throwing stones because he lives in a brick house.
He's safe.
Exactly. And what does he say? So the title of his article, again from the Sunday Times of the same day, but this time of 12th October, but again in the ideas section. What is the title of his input? Ubuntu power can ensure nobody goes hungry in South Africa. So I repeat him now. Ubuntu power can ensure nobody goes hungry in South Africa. And then he goes on. Certainly, South Africa's farmers produce enough food to feed our country. When people go hungry, it is because of price and access, not lack of production. Nobody in South Africa should go hungry. So he has thrown the stones.
Yeah.
He's thrown the bricks by appealing to Ubuntu. The reasons he gives why 15.9 million people go hungry every day is price. Price. Pecuni-mania, money. Either you produce money or you die. Now, this is the economy of these people.
Yeah.
The economy of Ubuntu is bana ba motho re ngwathohana hlogwana ya tšhihi. I believe strongly that our great elders were aware that when you look at the locust, you will see that the body of the locust is larger than its head. Yet, they decided to construct this proverb, which, when translated, is children of the same family in the extended sense, meaning even in global terms here. Children of the same family share even the head of the locust.
Yeah.
You see, because if you're going to share the body is big, you don't feel it.
Yeah.
Giving, sharing involves the understanding of misery. It involves the need for justice. It involves the imperative of liberation. That is sharing. And that means even this small head, you must share so that all of you can live. So, Dade Musa, I must remind him, and I mean Musa in that collective sense, I would like to remind him that this beautiful constitution that they say it is, of 1996, does not contain Ubuntu anywhere. Read it a million times. You will not find Ubuntu. And I'm now saying it is no accident that Ubuntu is absent, because Ubuntu would have said, the wealth unjustly acquired ought to be shared, not yesterday, but now. In that way, you will see that people will be eating, dressed up, living in decent, everything according to human dignity. Not a Bill of Rights which is lip service to the right to life. And so, Ubuntu is still alive if you go by this, even by Ubers. If you have drivers who know what topics to pick out, because some of them would like to ask funny personal questions. But if you find those, they will tell you that actually, Baba, it is only us, the poor, who share, even in the townships, even in the villages. It is the poor who share. It is the poor who have the courage and the simplicity to go and ask for some salt from the neighbor. And the neighbor understands and the neighbor gives. But it ends there.
Yeah.
It doesn't go. The wealthy. I'm not so biblically intoxicated, but I think one of the things one can say about it is it has a story to the effect that if you think that one day you will go to heaven, please do not expect the wealthy. Because for the wealthy to enter there, they must make sure, it will be like passing through, a camel passing through the eye of the needle. And so there is a book also called that way, The Eye of the Needle, by a white South African, writing about the economy of this country and showing that, you will need to have a camel passing through the eye of the needle for the wealthy to do the right ethical thing. And that's why you have this transition from parliamentary sovereignty to constitutional supremacy. We want to make sure that you will continue in starvation.
Yeah.
You see, now they do this because they understand one of the maxims of ancient Rome. They had, we were taught these things in Latin. It was compulsory education, okay? So I see that even Sigmund Freud uses these maxims when in his discussion with Einstein, there was a question. Einstein was asked, what do we do? What do you think we can do to prevent war? And so he asked Freud, can we engage in this and see what advice we can give to the League of Nations?
Yeah.
All right? And so one of the maxims that Freud used from ancient Rome was si vis vitam para mortem. So we translate. If you want to endure life, prepare oneself for death. You see, you must prepare yourself for death. Now, what could that mean? A lot of things, one of which is, you see, if you do not believe that there is life after death, a pleasant life, a promised life of milk and honey forever. Never mind God's sense of proportion. I mean, he gives you temporal life, but infinite punishment or reward. That is mathematically problematical, to put it mildly. But you see, when you prepare for death and you don't believe in life after death, it means on this planet now, you must make maximum. Let this be your heaven. Surely, the conversations that I hear around tell me that, hey, here, whites are in heaven. They are in heaven right now in this country. Whites are in heaven. You see? So they understand this maxim very well. Live now, do the best. Even if it means you are going to kill your brother or sister, enjoy life now. Okay? So, you see, no, I think we have to understand that the Constitution was not meant for us. The Constitution is an alien paradigm of governance. It doesn't help us. The Constitution is making us even poorer because we have to have a translation of the thinking of the white man in our indigenous languages. Now, my final point is this. Any constitution under the sun need not be written at all. There is no need to write a constitution. Why? Two influential human beings on this planet. One is called Socrates. He has never written a single word, but he is renowned and honored as the father of Western philosophy. Never written a word. Another man, call him from the Middle East or from the West, because we got him from the West. This man never wrote a single word. When you read the Bible, all the time it is Jesus dixit. Jesus said. Jesus. What did he write? Just like Socrates, the dialogues of Socrates, Plato was his student, one of those people who wrote what he said. Okay? So, you don't need to put something down for you to be able to live together as human beings. So I have taken you too far away. Socrates belongs to the BC, before Christ period. And Jesus starts a new calendar. Okay, is that? But
in your last episode, you also took us to current events and referred to the UK.
That's exactly what I'm saying, that even the UK has not got a written constitution. So, let us not be mesmerized by having it written, especially because most of us do not yet know how to read and write. So what is the point? What is the point? It is possible to live together without the written word. But the lived word in justice is possible all the time. And this is my point.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I mean, lots of congruence, continuity, consistency between the last episode and now, the commitment to Ubuntu.
That's right.
And I don't know why it sounds like you complain when they call you the enemy of constitutional supremacy. Because if you don't want the word enemy, you are certainly not a friend of our constitution. And that's consistent as well with the feedback that you gave the last time. Now I'm going to give you another magic wand. You
Right.
can have a collection of them.
Right.
But I don't want you to repeat any of what you said at the last one. The last one, in response directly to the question, you talked about something you've just referred to now. And then you placed that in the context of our current economic system, the wastage of food that you covered again today,
Right.
and around equality and sustainability of our current systems, right? You've raised a lot of issues again today, consistent, yes, but some of them different in nature from the ones that you raised the last time. But in essence, there's a problem with where we are in South Africa. There's a problem politically, there's a problem socially, there's a problem economically, there's a problem all around. What, if I give you this magic wand, where would you deploy it to make a practical difference? What practical steps would you take, to change something in any of those arenas that would ensure that, we deliver the South Africa you describing, the South Africa of your dreams?
Thank you. Thank you. First, I don't want a South Africa because this South Africa is a construct.
Yeah.
It's a construct that really has resulted in what you have just described. So to mark qualitative change, there must be a new way of human beings living together in a country that accepts change. And that would mean for other people, first, you will have to think of a name. Some people, myself not excluded, have been thinking about the name Azania. Okay. So there must be an Azania in which justice is such that it has a permanent look and permanent vigilance over the point that no one shall cross the boundaries of mutu ke mutu ka batho. No one. But if umuntu ngumuntu ngabanye abantu, the point is you would not want to be done unto you what you do to others. So it will be in our own idiom and not in the idiom that you find in the Voortrekker Museum. Okay? Not in the idiom that you find in the writings of Immanuel Kant, in the Ethics of Kant. Not everybody knows Kant or is interested in Kant, but many of us in this country understand what we mean when we say umuntu ngumuntu ngabanye abantu. And that means that even if you are maybe, let's say, an Indian member of the Indian community, you would see the possibility of living together in justice from the perspective of a very interesting Indian concept which was used in this country, satyagraha. Mahatma Gandhi used that. Here, it didn't work out 100%, and I don't know why the so-called reconciliation is only focusing on Ubuntu and not satyagraha. Now, that's why I say the dialogue of cultures and perspectives regarding one another as equals is the Ubuntu way of living.
Yeah.
And let us live the Ubuntu way because it excludes no one. No, it excludes no one.
Stunning.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.